Marhaba, Keith Kuhn. Ana ismi David. I'm in Chicago. في فيديو جديد اليوم اسمه Learn Arabic Vocabulary Using a Memory Palace. This is video number 2. In the previous video, we set up a memory palace with 16 stations in it in a Mexican restaurant. So we've got 16 locations where we can put information in it. We can put the Arabic words, and we can put the definitions in there. So today, I'd like to place 5 words into this memory palace. Words that have like an A sound at the beginning. So let's get to it. So, all right. So just a quick review of what we did last time. Here's our Mexican restaurant. You know, we're parked out here somewhere in our car, and we get out, and location 1 is a planter on the wall to our left. We see this planter. We enter the restaurant via this door here. It can be any way that you imagine this door for this restaurant. Try to make it real for yourself. As you're walking through the hallway here to get into this restaurant, there's a water fountain on the left side, like a beautiful fountain on the left, and stone fountain. Here's the host who has the menus, and he's going to bring you to your table. And here's the stairway that goes downstairs and brings us into the main eating area. So 5 locations today. All right, and my head's going to be bouncing around all day, so like usual, right? So what is this crazy document right over here? So this is just a legend, or whatever we call it. It's been a long time since I dealt with maps, but okay. So 5 locations. We've got our planter, our front door, our water fountain, our host, and our stairs. And here's the 5 words that we'd like to put into this memory palace today. So first one is afwan, which means excuse me. Adesh, which means how much, like how much does that cost. Alib, which is a heart, like a human heart. One thing I should mention too is, so I'm learning spoken Arabic as opposed to the written Arabic, or what they call Fusha. I'm learning. My wife is Lebanese, so they don't necessarily pronounce the ka sound in the area he's from. So some dialects might say like Kalib for this, but for her dialect they go Alib. So it's an A sound here, but that shouldn't be a problem. You know, the example that I'll give you when we get to this 3rd station, you can change the imagery so you get a ka sound instead of an sound. So mafi mashkal, no problem. And you know, I should also say, here's some more disclaimers here. So I'm an Arabic learner. I'm not an Arabic expert. I'm learning vocabulary just like everybody else. I'm going to make mistakes and mispronounce things, but the system we're using here is awesome for getting, you know, this into your mind, and we can go back and we can refine these words and these pronunciations later with a native speaker, and really nail down the right intonation and the right way to say these. So I think we're very close with the way I'm presenting it here, but there'll be differences between the different regions and dialects and that type of thing. So we'll do our best to get through it. Okay, so the 4th location is going to be Archas. So we got to do our little sound. You know, that's not something we have in English most of the time, but we've got Archas, chas, here, and that means cheaper. Like I'm looking for a house that's cheaper, so I want one that's Archas, cheaper. And then the 5th location is Acher. Acher, and so another sound here. Acher means last. I live in the last house on the street, kind of thing. So Acher. Okay, so here we go. So we got out of our car. We're at this planter. We want to see a little movie in our head. We imagine this. There's a scene happening here, And what's happening here is the restaurant owner, his name is Juan, of this Mexican restaurant. He's spraying this plant with something that we call off bug spray. There's a bug spray to keep the mosquitoes away from you, or Bargashi, I guess mosquito, from you. So Juan is spraying this beautiful plant and flowers with off bug spray, and that gives us off one, off one, off one. So we got off and one, off one. So then one of the customers asks him, yeah, his name is Javier or Xavier or whatever. It could be anybody you want. But he says, "Excuse me, you're killing that plant. You can't spray bug spray on the plant. It's going to kill the plant. So excuse me." So let's review what's going on here at this location. So Juan is spraying this plant. Maybe there's a bunch of mosquitoes around this plant, and he's spraying this plant with off bug spray. So off one, off one. So off one means excuse me. So one of the customers comes over and says, "Excuse me, off one." So the second location, so we go up to the second location, this door, and the door is going to be a dish. So we've got a large dish. If we can just imagine like a really oversized, and none of this has to be, coherent with reality. The more we exaggerate, the more that we do crazy things, the more memorable it'll be for our mind. But I'm leaning on this door. We have a dish, a ceramic dish, maybe a dish you remember from your childhood or something like that. But you can just imagine there's a big dish leaning on this door. So if anybody opens this door, that dish is going to fall over and it's going to break into a million pieces, and then it's going to be a big mess and people are going to be upset. So there's a dish leaning on the door. Well, one of the customers opens up the door and this dish falls to the ground and it breaks into a bunch of pieces. And then somebody named Howie comes over and with an adding machine, and he starts saying, he's hitting the buttons on the adding machine, and that little paper comes out for the total and that kind of thing. And he goes, "You know how much this is going to cost, to replace this dish?" So here's what we're getting from this station. So we had a dish leaning on the door. Somebody opens it up. The dish breaks on the floor. Howie comes over, and he with an adding machine, and he goes, how much this is going to cost? And he's clicking away on this adding machine. So try to hear these sounds, feel the emotion of things going on, see kind of the chaos. Maybe it's your favorite dish, and maybe it kind of triggers some kind of reaction there. But anything you can do to try to build up this story will help it be more memorable when we tour this again. So then we get into the third location, and this will be a fun one. So there's some type of water fountain on the wall here. Maybe a stone fountain, just a pretty little decoration there. Nice water trickling there. Well, you look inside, and there's a heart, like a human heart, floating in this water fountain, which is quite unusual, right? And a person named Al comes over, maybe Al Bundy from Married with Children, or somebody that whose name's Al. He comes over and goes, "Oh, that's my heart. I've been looking for it everywhere. I really need that thing." And he grabs the heart and he kisses it, gives it a kiss, and the heart somehow had teeth of some sort. We're using our imagination over time now. The heart bites Al on his lip and won't let go. So now you try to imagine Al is kind of flailing around and going, "Hey, the heart is biting me on my lip and I can't get rid of it," kind of thing. So what do we get from this crazy imagery in chaos that's going on here at location 3? So we've got a heart. So that's, we're looking for the Arabic word for heart. So we've got this heart that was floating around. Al, and then lip. So we got Al, and his lip is getting bit by this heart. So Alip is heart in Arabic. So they don't necessarily have the P sound in words in Arabic. So even though we're talking about lip here, it's really a B sound. But it's close enough where it gets us there to Alip. So heart is Alip. The fourth station is Arhas. Arhas. So it's not Arhas, it's Arhas. So I'm guilty of this much of the time, not pronouncing my sounds, but we need a here. So um, David, sorry, Ariel, the mermaid from The Little Mermaid, and David Hasselhoff are out on a date at this Mexican restaurant. They're coming up to the host here, and they're maybe things aren't going the way they wish, and they're worried about the how expensive the restaurant's going to be. And they look at the menu that the host hands them, and they go, "Is there something cheaper, or is there anything cheaper here?" And the host goes, "I don't think so, but let me ask someone here." So he takes a carton of eggs from underneath the counter and opens up the carton of eggs in front of Ariel and David Hasselhoff here, and the eggs hatch, and there's a bunch of chicks in there, some yellow chicks in there, and they start chirping, cheaper, cheaper. There's nothing cheaper, kind of thing. So I'm working off of the chirping sound and how birds can chirp or cheep or whatever. So, but we could just imagine that Ariel and David Hasselhoff. So that gives us Arjas, and we see these birds on the counter, and that's where we're getting cheaper from there. So then the fifth location is Acher. Acher. So that's means last or the end in Arabic. So here we've got Alvin from Alvin and the Chipmunks, and maybe he's down on his luck, and his hair has been growing out for a long time now. He's got long blonde hair all the way down to the ground, and we go up to him and we ask him, "When was the last time you cut your hair? That your hair is so long. When's the last time you cut your hair?" So, and Alvin just goes, "Last time I cut my hair was a million years ago or something." But whatever. So let's take a quick run through the words and the imagery that we did for these 5 locations. And right. So first location is the plant, and we've got Juan with his off bug spray. So that's Afwan, and a customer comes up and says, "Excuse me, you can't do that. You're killing the plant." Or Xavier came up and said, "Excuse me, you can't do that. You're killing the plant." And maybe the plant wilts in front of him. Try to smell the bug spray, that kind of thing. So Afwan is there. Front door, we had a big dish, a dish leaning on this door. Somebody opens the door, the dish falls down. Howie runs over, and he goes, he's got an adding machine, and he just goes, "How much is this going to cost?" So that's a dish. How much? The drinking fountain, we've got our possessed heart or whatever going, and with the teeth. And Al Bundy comes over and gives it a kiss because he missed the heart so much. It's his heart. And now the heart bit his lip. So heart is Alib, or Alip is the way it's kind of sounding to us, but Alib. And the fourth location, Ariel and David Hasselhoff are coming for dinner, but they're concerned about how much it's going to cost. They ask for something cheaper, and the host brings out a carton of eggs. The eggs hatch, a bunch of birds, chicks come out, and they start going, "There's nothing cheaper, there's nothing cheaper." And then we get to the fifth location, the stairs here, and there's Alvin with super long hair, because it's been a long time since the last time he cut his hair. And so when was the last time you cut your hair, Alvin? So this may seem like it's a lot of work and a lot of stretching of your mind and all these kinds of things, but I think I mentioned in the last video, I have probably 200 different locations, different places, like this restaurant, different houses, different places from my past, places I've gone on vacation. And it takes a little bit the benefit of this is that at a later date, or even when we're laying in bed, we can go back and we can walk this journey again, and we can pull this information back. So I could literally lay in bed and go, all right, the first one is Afwan, and it means excuse me, and on and on and on through this whole list. And you do 5 words like this a day at a time, kind of thing, and before you know it, you've got a lot of words. And what we're doing doing is we're avoiding this trend of even that I did as I started is you read something, you learn a new word, and then you forget the new word because you didn't use the word, and it just you're just going to keep getting new and larger lists of Arabic words that you need to memorize. But the system that we can create by using these memory palaces, you know, these become more permanent and easier to retain and more fun, to be honest with you. I mean, we're not, I mean, you see the crazy story that we've created here. So please send me your questions and comments on this. But the next video, we'll do 6 through 10, I believe, or maybe 6 through 11 on there. And then we'll have a final video where we walk through this palace backward and forward without looking at any of these cheat sheets or screens, and then we can really evaluate is this information sticking in our mind or not, and if it's not, what can we do to enhance this. But I hope you enjoyed the video. Please, I have to click on the next page here. All right, so please subscribe to the channel so I can continue to keep making these fun and exciting videos and keep learning along with you. Give me a thumbs up, please, and check out the free memory course, magneticmemorymethod.com/David, with my friend Dr. Anthony Metivier. I learned a lot of things from him on how to memorize things this way, and it is really night and day. I tried 20 years ago when I first got married to try to learn Arabic the old-fashioned way with just repeat, or re-listen to the audio and that kind of stuff, and I made some good progress. But when you can put the words in your mind using imagery and stories and make it kind of fun like this, plus when you can look at this information offline, I can go through these memory palaces without paper and without electronic products to assist me, and it gets easier as you do it, and I think you'd be quite amazed if you try this. So shukran katir, shufkun ariban, ma salame.